3 really interesting lightning talks. So feel free to give a lightning talk yourself in the future. But now the full talk. Pieter-Jan and Jonas will be talking about Bluetooth. We had one talk about Bluetooth before, I think 1.5 years ago from Paulus. And yeah, I feel like it's a topic that's becoming more and more used, more and more important. So another look on how Unlocked took the challenge to use Bluetooth. Are we good to go? Then take the stage and
All right, thank you. Great, thank you all for coming, being here in such big numbers. Today we'll be talking a bit about Bluetooth and how we're trying at Unlocked to unlock Bluetooth. We'll start with just the agenda. Bit of introduction, who are we, what are our experiences with Bluetooth, what challenges did we face trying to solve as well. We found a solution that worked for us and how we're building that solution, extending it into the future. So who are we at Unlocked? Well, I'm Pieter-Jan. I am a inline skating, sport climbing, D&D playing Java developer who turned Flutter developer. I started out at Unlocked about 1.5 years ago, I think,
yep.
And then converted myself from Java developer to Flutter developer. And with me is...
Yeah, so hey everyone, thanks for the transition. So I'm Jonas. I'm one of the co-founders alongside Robert of Unlocked, where I in day-to-day take up the role of technical lead, where I do technical excellence, like we like to call it. And pretty much like Pieter-Jan, I also come from a history of Java, among other things, also with a passion for mobile apps and the full spectrum of providing multiple applications across multiple screens, which leads us to Unlocked, where we focus on all screen applications and where we try to provide our customers with a digital experience where they can have impact on their clients and help them connect, if necessary, to their interactive devices, which we use alongside, among other things, Bluetooth to connect those devices. A little bit about Unlocked, as Robert mentioned earlier on, we are a team of 6 people. We are based from Leuven and Contig mainly, and we are part of Explore Group, which is a group of a lot of companies, as you can see, around 54, about 1,100 people, maybe 1,200 maybe nowadays. And along that, we are part of Kronos, which maybe all of you guys already know, and might be part of, actually. Which are even more people, 9,550 more competence centers. And as you can see, we are spread out across Europe, mainly on a lot of locations.
Yeah, so we'll be talking about Bluetooth, as we said before, but maybe just a quick refresher on what Bluetooth is and that kind of stuff. But I'm not going to do the original talk about where the name come from and all that kind of stuff. No, you can read that on Wikipedia. We'll just talk about devices. We'll talk about a lonely smartphone that is all by itself, looking for someone to connect with. And sometimes you can search and you can find someone, and then you can wait until the transition is over.
Oh,
and it's loading.
It's freezing.
It's freezing, that's not good. Murphy is in the building.
Just give him a moment.
Yeah. Who, Murphy? Or no, it's proper freeze.
No, he's still alive.
Still alive, okay. So we try to look for devices that we can connect with, and usually it's just small connection. We can pair with, let's say, a headphone, and we can start listening to songs or do something else, and then and then maybe sometimes we need like not just a small connection, but something really proper like a bond, and then we, instead of pairing, we'll bond with two devices. And then it would be useful if we could go to the next slide, but
Yeah, it's,
no, okay. So we pair, we bond, and then eventually we try to actually do something with that bonding as well. We'll need to read some data from it. We need to store some data on the Bluetooth device. For instance, I have a smartwatch here, and I want to I want to know how many steps. Oh, here, there we go. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So at the end, we're properly bonded, and we can do a lot with it. We can read data from each other and write data as well. So how does that happen? How do we read data? How do we send data to a device? Well, let's make an analogy here. Let's say that our Bluetooth device is like a big store. And then we have in that store a couple of departments. We have clothing department, electronic department, and maybe also food. It's also useful in the store. And those are our services. So our Bluetooth device has certain services. And within those departments, we have shelves stocked with products. And those are our characteristics in Bluetooth. And when we're walking through the store, we go to a certain service and then to a certain shelf, and we take out one of the products of that shelf and we read our data from our characteristic, or we store something in that shelf and we store something on that characteristic. So that's all fine, and then we can do everything that we want. Now, quick question, Robert also hinted on this. Who has used Bluetooth before? Okay, who has used Bluetooth within Flutter? Okay, less hands. That's fine. We use Bluetooth as well, and we have our experiences.
Yeah, indeed. We have done quite a few projects. We've done a lot more projects, but these are some of them. Obviously, for obvious reasons, we're not showing application pictures. These are AI generated, but you get a hint on what it does. So the first one of our cases that we have done for multiple cases actually is smart bicycle components for shifting, updating of the firmware, putting on settings for them. One of them on the right you can see is for a medical appliance for glucose sensors, where we have done those. We have done for sport competitions, for time tracking, for an external Bluetooth enabled clock, which needs to be performant, has to be low latency. And then, of course, Moon, which is right in front of us. In its final version, it's a lot nicer. This is the bare bones version, which you will see later on during this presentation come up again during our demo.
Yes. And in these projects, we used a couple of packages. We had a bit of different experiences with them. We used QuickBlue in one of our projects because it needed to run on desktop. You needed to run mainly on desktop, so that's why we used it there. It did have some limitations on Linux and all that kind of stuff, but it worked fine. There's a new kit on the block as well, Universal BLE. It's quite new. It's only maybe a month old, but has quite some promise, I think. Because it's also multi-platform. Did experience some issues with it on Android, where we were subscribed to one of the characteristics. So we were continuously looking at one of the shelves, and we sometimes lost some data from it, which isn't all too good. The package that we use the most is Flutter Blue Plus, because we didn't have really that many hiccups. Sometimes we did experience some things with versioning that went wrong, that were breaking changes, but weren't versioned as breaking changes. So we had to deal with that as well. But yeah, that gives us a couple of, how would I put it, challenges that we need to tackle and fix. And one of those main challenges is mocking all this behavior, all this Bluetooth behavior. sometimes we don't have access to real devices to connect with our Bluetooth moon, for example. We're on the train, we don't have the equipment with us, we just want to run it in an emulator. So we had to figure out a solution for it. Also, if we just wanted to swap out one of the packages, we couldn't just do that. We would need to refactor a whole lot of our code, and that's not easy to do it. So enter our solution, unlock Bluetooth. Soon to come. But I'll hint on that in the future. So a bit of history. We started out with just, we want to use Bluetooth, we want to use it in an emulator, we want to use it in unit testing, golden testing, all that kind of good stuff. But how do we do that? Well, we just took one of the packages that I mentioned earlier. We used Flutter Blue Plus. We took it, we wrapped it around so that we have a bit more control, and then we started mocking. And the mocking at the beginning was pretty straightforward. We just put JSON files on an emulator so we can read out that JSON file, and then our mocked code could just see, okay, need to fetch that data, do something with it, and show it to the production code. But soon we experienced some growth pains, and we wanted to expand that. So what do we have right now? Who has used the hexagonal architecture before? Who has heard of it? Just two, maybe? Okay, that's fine. Well, pretty straightforward. It's a central core. We called it the controller. And that is a part that we expose to our production code. It exposes all the methods, so it exposes a method to connect with a Bluetooth device. It exposes a method to read a characteristic, to read a service, to discover services, all that kind of stuff. And then on top of that hexagonal structure, we started to add adapters. And it's all different kind of implementations of basically the same thing. And we defined a way to just switch between it. So we have a Flutter Blue Plus adapter, which is one implementation, and then we have an ISR implementation, a fake implementation, and we can just easily take out one part and plop in another one depending on our use case. So for instance, if we have unit tests, we just take out the Flutter Blue Plus one because we don't have an actual device, put in a fake one, and we can continue with our golden tests and have control, full control about what we're doing. And now we're expanding that even more. We're actually dabbling a bit with DevTools.
Yeah. So I suppose that everyone here has already used DevTools. Maybe show of hands. Yeah, okay. So you're all familiar with the VM service, which allows you to communicate between actually your application, which is running, which connects to DevTools, which is in fact actually a web application which runs in Chrome, whatever you're using. And now you have this communication layer, which is a protocol to allow you to put on breakpoints, for example. So it sends an action, we're going to breakpoint on this execution of code. So we also want to do that, and now Flutter allows us to actually extend on DevTools, like Koen already also has done. So what did we do? I'm going to zoom in a moment, don't worry. So as Pieter-Jan said, we have a controller, and here we have our VM service, which connects to our application. If you look at what our control really exposes towards our adapters, are actions that it can do, like, for example, turn on our adapter, turn it off, list our system devices, all of these connections, all these actions that you want to take. You might want to just visualize it in your DevTools, because you're debugging, you want to see what's happening, what's scanning, what's going on. We can also see events happening, like the adapter has changed. It's now offline, it's no longer connected. We can see it in our DevTools. We can also, of course, get responses like, oh, turning it off went wrong. So it's an error that's actually happening. And this is all possible due to our abstraction of what we call a DevTools connector. What is this? Every one of our adapters actually implements it, and then he initializes itself and registers himself with the VM service. So your app uses our adapter, like Flutter Blue Plus. He initializes and registers himself with the VM service, and now we can actually send or receive actions, events over that protocol. Pretty much like method channels, if you were familiar with that. So our actual Control DevTools extension, which is part of your DevTools in your browser, can now also request actions like turn it on, turn it off, and it will send it over the VM service, get it to the Flutter Blue Plus, for example, on your real device, turn off the actual adapter. If it's a fake one, then obviously it does fake data or fake actions. So that's pretty much what we are doing right now. At this point, it's a work in progress. We have a few things working, like turning it on, turning it off, the adapter that is, listing the actual system devices which are currently connected. And if we move on, later on we'll show you what the actual future brings for that.
Yeah, so let me try to switch here real quick. See if this works. We know that Murphy is in the building. Output. Black screen, that's fine. And there we are. There we are. Okay. So I currently have two applications running. The one on the left is an emulator, so it has less functionality than the one on the right, which is my tablet that I have just here. What I first want to show off is our DevTools that Jonas was just now talking about. We added a extra. Oh, I need to zoom. Can I zoom? I can. That's better. Yep. Now it's hidden. So we have our own little tab in here, which we just made this morning. And in here we have some information about the current adapter that we're running. So this is my actual device where we are using the Flutter Blue Plus adapter, and my Bluetooth is off at the moment. I don't have any system devices, so I'm not connected with anything. From here we can toggle the adapter.
Now you have the pop-up.
Now I have the pop-up. I can press allow, and I turn Bluetooth on from within the DevTools. Eventually we want to extend that functionality, do more stuff with it, but future stuff. Let me first show you the moon. So I'm currently finding two moons. One is in front of me, one is all the way in the back, and let me see if I can find the correct one. We can say real data or fake data. The whole thing about the moon application is that we can actually show what the moon is like in a lamp form. So if I were to choose real, then it would pick up what my location is right now and then do an algorithm, see what the moon should be like. Is it half moon, full moon? But for now, I'll just use the fake data. And let me see if I change something here. Does it change? Yeah. It is changing. Great. So this is proper Bluetooth connection directly with the moon. I can change, and let me put it on half, and then change the angle as well. I saw it change here, so that's good. I'm not going to toggle the brightness because otherwise you guys are blind. And then I can press done, and I have here one Bluetooth device that I'm connected with. Let me do a quick refresh here. Oh, it's not in here.
It's Murphy.
It's Murphy, thank you. Okay, that's fine. So we have the one device here. We can do kind of bit the same here. This is also the Flutter Blue Plus adapter that I'm using. I can turn on Bluetooth. I can get the pop-up. It's looking for moons, but it won't find anything because it's an emulator. So what I want to do right now is actually swap out our Flutter Blue Plus implementation and use the NICER implementation, a local database. So let me check and see. Yes, this is the code. Let me put it a bit bigger for you guys. So I'm gonna switch out the adapter, put this one in comment. This is our Iser Bluetooth adapter. Let me just do, this is the wrong one, thank you. Let me just restart this one. Go back. Bluetooth is turned off. Let me turn it on. Takes a while, we don't get the pop-up because I'm actually changing the database locally. It was searching and I found something. This is just a device that I configured myself, which is stored locally on the device, which I can also change if I want to. I can do the same thing. I can connect with it. I can read out data that I stored on it locally. I set the brightness to 2, the daytime brightness to 8, and I can dabble with it if I want to. I can set the percentages, I can set the brightness. I can do this one without blinding you guys. And then I can store it as well. And then later on, if I want to connect with it again, I can do it all day long. So I can use the emulator, or I can write a unit test for it, a golden test, and I plug in anything that I want so that I can have a safe state and know what kind of data is present in my golden test and properly test for it. What do we want to do in the future? Now I need to switch back.
Is it still alive?
Is it still alive? It is. Okay, oh, there we go. Sorry for the transition. No signal. It popped here.
Yeah,
We're doing something. There we go. So what do we want to do in the future with this? Well, we want to release this to PubDev so that everyone can enjoy this. Before we can do that, we still need to clean stuff up. We need to write a proper README. We need to provide some testing, examples, all that kind of stuff. We want to extend our DevTools functionality. What we were thinking about was, for example, that we have 2 adapters running at the same time, the Flutter Blue Plus and then the fake one. And we want to copy the state of the Flutter Blue Plus and store it in the fake one so that later on we have an exact replica of Bluetooth devices in our emulator so that we can just test with that one. What else do we want to do? I just toggled the Bluetooth status on and off. I also want to see what kind of scan results I'm getting. Well, I'm actually scanning so that I can see what is happening real life in the DevTools and then compare it with what is running in my application. Then we want to add more adapters. So we highlighted 3 packages earlier. We only have 1 adapter for it. It's the Flutter Blue Plus. We're working on the universal BLE, but it needs some love at this point. We have an Iser one, we have a fake one, but maybe we can think of other examples that we want to write an adapter for, other use cases. So we want to write those. And then, yeah, we want to extend the current functionality, which is basically the thing that I said. Universal BLE isn't working properly, so we should fix that one. But that's all stuff for the future. For now, this is all we have. I want to thank you all for listening, and we love Flutter.